real, uncut raw, just how you like. Hit that button, smash that like. Real talk vibes, coast to coast. Best damn podcast, let's raise a toast.
Boom.
There we go.
Did we just do that the whole way through?
All the way through. Just see how long it takes for it to get tiresome.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Yeah, very, very good, mate. Very, very good. The
Another-
third in line, mate. The third
We're
in
feeling-
line.
We're feeling a little bit fragile, aren't we, this morning?
A little bit fragile, because obviously for those that don't know, we are filming this on the Tuesday, which is the day after the night before me and Scotty doing a very well needed stream together. It has been a long time.
Yeah,
However, not going into
down.
without going into too much detail, because it is breakfast time, prime time for breakfast on a Sunday morning. Some of the events that happened, that occurred, it will probably be the last time we stream together for quite some time. I've seen a lot of stuff since knowing Scotty, and a lot of it I can now turn a blind eye to. What I saw last night, it goes against much of what.
Yeah. So I have made them streams private on YouTube because they were a bit silly, weren't they? Just a little bit.
It got a bit out of hand. Scotty, for those that didn't see, unfortunately, Scotty did lose. Believe it or not, he lost a slot battle to myself, which is it's a crisis in itself.
I never win live slot battles. I always lose the live ones. And I had my son's football boots here that he wanted cleaning. So I did a shoey, a beer shoey. We've done shoeys before on stream, that it's nothing different to what we've done before.
However,
I did a shoey out of the football boot, and let me tell you, that football boot stinks of ass. It is bad.
It wasn't nice.
No, so that made me instantly sick. So I ran to be sick, and then came back.
Just to prove that he'd been sick, walks back into the room with a cup full on his hand of gastric juices and stomach carrots, which obviously it turned me.
Mushrooms. I had a kebab pizza, didn't I?
Yeah.
So it was mushrooms. It was just man, yeah. So the more we forget about the quicker we forget about that stream, the better.
Yeah, I have scrubbed myself silly when I got home. I need to erase all memory of it, mate.
You again, just failing the team miserably.
I mean, less than average once again. Coming stone dead last in the battle. So I think that's 6 weeks running now. I don't think there's ever been such a poor run. I know there's been runs where people haven't won for so many weeks, but coming last.
So that's what I was going to say. So you've done 6 weeks of actually physically just coming last.
Coming last every time, whether it's just me versus you and Josh, me versus you and Jamie, it just gets worse and worse. I can't see where the next non-last is coming from.
But the live battles, you're really good at.
Yeah, it seems to be that way. Although it got very close once again, which was good. It's always good when it comes down to the last game, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So
that was close last night. That was really close because you smashed Doghouse Megaways and you carried that win all the way through. And then on the last game, I got a big win on Hot Potato, and you you didn't get as big a win, but it did come down to not much in the end, didn't it? It was really close.
A few beans, mate, in the end. That's all it was. But I'm so glad.
I like it to be that.
And we don't need to remind people clearly, but someone else has got another little bit of a little challenge to do, possibly next week.
Yeah,
Look, I know I've told you off screen that you don't have to, but there was 1,700 people in last night, and they all heard it come out your mouth. They all heard it.
After googling the hot chip challenge and having a look, and I am shitting my pants, mate.
I would happily say that I would do it with you, but I don't really feel like I've earned it. I don't feel like I need to.
Oh, no, honestly, well, I don't. Like I say, a buttered chicken gives me the hiccups, right?
Yeah.
So the hot chip challenge it's going to be an experience, put it that way. So I will tell you. I'll do it, but I'll tell you now, I am not going to do the whole chip. I will break a bit off and test it first and see what the crack's going to be, and we'll take it from there. I'm not excited about it. I'm not I'd give me a tattoo on my eyeball. Fuck, this is beyond. I'm not excited, mate. I'm not.
I didn't tell you about it. I didn't want to freak you out in person, but my dad were actually telling me a couple of weeks back that one of his mates at work did the hot chip challenge, and he went and passed out in the cubicle toilet and they had to get the ambulance crew to come and knock the door down
Dude.
because he'd literally passed out in like sweats and palpitations. Hey, it's all for the love of entertainment.
Oh God, can't we just get Sustroman instead and I'll eat this? Oh, God's sake. So yeah, we had a few beers after we'd finished the stream as well. So yeah, we are feeling a tad bit rough this morning.
A little bit of a groggy
sort of a bit afternoony now, isn't it? Not morning.
Yeah.
And I've still got the Prager's chair as well.
You have.
Last night. So this isn't as comfy as my lumbar chair, the one that supports my back and my shoulders and everything. It's a comfy chair, but I wouldn't say it's as comfy.
You have to look after your lumbar, mate.
Yeah, but look, when I shake my leg, I like to sit and shake my leg. The pillow behind me wobbles. Can you see?
Yeah, I can see it.
I can see it. Else be doing there? My hands are here, I promise. It's just me shaking my leg. So if you see the pillow wobble, it's just a leg shake.
As long as it's not your third leg.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Bit of blue on the podcast. Bit of blue. So yeah, what else have you been up to this week? Apart from obviously me and you having a few drinks yesterday and stuff, have you been up to much else?
Not really. Steady week, mate. Steady.
Last week you were telling us that you nearly set your house on and your kitchen on fire and stuff.
Yeah. I'm delighted to say that. I'm delighted to say that no infernos have been caused this week.
That's good.
Did have a little bit of an awkward moment the other night though.
I like an awkward moment. Story. I don't know where this is going to take me, but I mean, I'm ready.
It's not that bad, but so we live in a bit of a cul-de-sac, right? Like, cul-de-sac.
Friends.
Our bedroom window overlooks the road. So across the road, we've got another house directly in front of us. So It was about 9 o'clock, something. It wasn't late, but I thought, I'm not streaming. I'm going to treat myself to a bit of early night. I'm going to put a series on or something in bed.
Yeah.
So I go upstairs. I'm getting rid of bed. I've got my top off and that. I go and draw the curtains. As I reach to get to the curtains to draw them, the guy across the street is probably a middle-aged bloke. He's a bit of a fitness fanatic that I've sort of come to realise. He's always out for jogs and going tennising and all that. In the window directly from us was this bloke with his top off doing weights against the window. I could literally see him at the window doing his dumbbells like this. Yeah. And we caught eyes. We locked eyes. I've got no top on, about to draw my curtains. He's there like...
So what do you do?
It's one of those moments...
Do you pretend that you're drawing the curtains, or do you pretend you've seen like a little bit of dust somewhere?
I didn't do anything. I froze. But it was one of those moments. It might have only been for 5 seconds. It felt like it was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I kind of was there with the curtains in each hand like this. And it got to the point where it was like, who's going to look away first? Eventually, we kind of both just nodded at each other in like agreement. I slammed the curtains shut.
You did the agreement nod.
But I then realised I had to get something off the windowsill. And where the windowsill is, I can't just get it from the bed. I have to go and open the curtains again. I'd left like my glass of water to go and fill. So I was really worried. It took me about 5 minutes to like have the courage to open the curtains again in case like I opened them and he's there like...
Oh, God, yeah. With actual music playing this time as well. Like, oh... Like, and a bit more clothing's gone. Do you know what I mean?
You know, the Gavin and Stacey scene with Uncle Bryn and Smithy doing the workout to Girls Aloud. Like,
you know what? I'm still sticking to Gavin and Stacey is a great program, okay, but Stacey is the most fucking frustrating lady person. She them whatever she is, right? The fact that, about it was the whole baby situation where she wanted to have a baby, so she came off. Did she come off and didn't tell him?
Yeah,
and,
didn't tell him. Yeah,
and I was like, no, this is not for me. This is not good. So I went off it. He gave me the ick a little bit. But the Christmas special that's just gone from previous Christmas, that was pretty good, to be fair.
The last one, it was.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. It was a good one. I still don't think it's up there with the likes of. I mean, you can't beat in like classics like In Between Us, and I'm a big Friday Night Dinner fan, and you've not really seen much of it.
Really, no, never really watched it, mate. There's a few with old In Between Us characters in that I've not really sat down and watched.
Yeah, so Man Down is really good. Man Down is Greg Davis. He's got one called Man Down. That is very funny. That's really, really good. And then Will from In Between Us, his main one after that was Friday Night Dinner. That's very, very good. But as the other two, I'm not too sure if they were in anything that I know of. Do you know what I mean?
Nothing jumps out.
Yeah, so I'd say Greg Davies' Man Down was brilliant, and Friday Night Dinner. And then I'm jumping onto like a lot of people say Only Fools and Horses. Like, I have never really seen Only Fools and Horses. I've seen the odd snippet of a bit of an episode. Do you remember when you used to have like Sky Digital, you'd flick through and Only Fools was on, and it'd be on 5 minutes. I've done that, and I've seen the bit where they sell a watch or something, and they end up.
You've seen like the top moments, basically.
Yeah, yeah, and I've seen the bit where he leans on the bar and the bar's not. You know, I've seen them in the broom bit, and so I've seen snippets of this, that, and the other. So I have to feel like I've seen the funniest bits. Trying to commit myself to watch the whole series for me is then a bit. I'm not ready for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, what I like about and what I've always liked about it is just the writing. Like John Sullivan, I think he was just the best writer. He had the ability to like maybe go through 10 or 15 minutes where there'd be no major joke, there'd be no major punchline, but it would always be building to something. And then but you're so clued in, you never know when it's going to come, and then it happens, and you tie it all together. Trigger as well, like he's just class because he has such little lines, but everything that he does is just absolutely hilarious, man. Like,
I will one day definitely sit and watch it from front to back, and like even though I've seen it loads of times, I'd still opt for Fawlty Towers. Do you know what I mean? Like, for me, Fawlty Towers is the best ever. I don't think that even beats like In Betweeners for me. I think it's so
classic ones though, mate. It's classic. Well, what did I used to watch? I was always at my grandma and granddad's, and with that posh woman keeping up appearances. Have you seen that?
Never seen it. No,
you've never.
No, and I'm hearing really good things about like Father Ted and what's that other one with Dawn French?
Vicar of Dibley.
Vicar of Dibley. I mean, I have seen a few episodes of Vicar of Dibley. That's not too bad, but again, I just can't massively get into them like I got into Fawlty Towers, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think the Fawlty Towers thing is purely just John Cleese being an absolute legend, and the way he acts and the way he, the way he does his character on that is just absolutely brilliant. I don't think you can ever remake it. They're on about it, but you can't. There's nobody else. The only person I think who could play Basil Fawlty would be Rod Gilbert.
Yeah.
I think because he's got an anger problem as well, and you've seen him, lose the plot quite. So I think that would be a possibility.
It's the same when they make any old classic though. Like they made Only Fools and Horses remade that. I think it was Rock and Chips that had Jay from In Betweeners in playing Del Boy, and it just didn't. It was never going to hit the same notes. It was obviously when they were all kids and stuff, and you can sort of relate to it in some ways, but everyone always just expects it to be all the same great age-old comedy. But times have changed. Like you can't get away with half the stuff anymore, can you?
True. What have I been up to this week? Again, we said this before on the first podcast, didn't we? That people will find out that I am actually quite boring, and I don't do. What is that sticking out? I thought that was a feather, but it's my hair. It's just like a bit of blonde hair sticking up from the hat. That is annoying. People will figure out I'm pretty boring. Don't really do much. This week, again, not really much. I've still not got my car. That hopefully is coming either today or tomorrow. I'm expecting a phone call. But then there's more issues with it. So that is something that I don't want to go into for legal reasons now.
That's it. The ante has been upped, mate. The ante
has massively been upped, yeah. So he has X amount of working days to be back in touch, and we'll see what happens there.
The one thing I don't ever want to be on the wrong end of is you when you're on one. Like you are one of them. No shites given. You talk first, think later. I have heard you going off on one, mate, and it's just something I would never want to be on the back end of.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm actually like the most calmest, nicest person you will probably ever meet, and I'm so calm, and I don't have pretty much a bad bone in my body. But when I get riled up to the point where it's like a kettle, do you know what I mean? And when the kettle boils, man, once it's there, once something's ground my gears that much, it's game over, yeah. And I just completely lose my Swede, don't I? I do sometimes. I do the actions before I think I'll act, and then I'm like, shit. Now what have I done? Now I get myself into like another bit of a pickle, as it were.
I just can't do controversy. I can't do controversial moments. I can't do conflict. I'm the guy that goes to a restaurant, eats out of date chicken, and smiles and grins and bears it. I can't complain. I'm a wet blanket.
You're a wet blanket. So I've just brought up last week's podcast to have a look at a few of the comments, just to sort of have a little look through. John's YouTube has put, as streamers, do you perceive the chat stroke viewers has someone made more of an impression or bring your mood up and down? With over 1,000 each stream, it's more over 1,500, come on. Just wondering how this affects the outcome And do you have any subjects? Oh, sure.
Shub.
Do you have any subjects ready before streams to keep the chat flowing, or just rely on chat to start? As it goes from football to sandwiches, and how you would die in 10 minutes. So that's a good question, that is gonna be one of our focus points of today's stream. So today's podcast. Sorry, I need to get that out of my head. That we're not actually streaming now, are we? We're filming.
Yeah,
so
I know. I do it all the time.
Podcast. No streams. So yeah, I think we focus this week's podcast is mainly going to be focused on streaming and what it takes like to stream. And in that we will answer that question as well.
Yeah. What bit of behind the scenes stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, what equipment you'd need and what what platform you use to stream on. So we will dive a little bit more deeper into the sort of the world of a streamer, and just sort of on a nightly basis I can talk you through what I will go through, and Ace can talk you through sort of what he goes through.
Believe me, they are completely different as well.
Yeah, me and Ace are completely different when it comes to streaming, when it comes to setting up for a stream, but we'll get into all that first. So I think first what I'm going to do is we'll both sort of go through this, but what equipment we have for streaming. So anybody could probably do like a cost breakdown of this, and if anybody wants, I've got obviously Google open in front of me, I can do like a quick cost breakdown for what it would cost to get the equipment you would need to like start streaming. So first of all, you would need, most importantly, a PC, wouldn't it?
It would help.
That's the first thing you'd need. Like the most important, you're not going to be able to stream without a PC. Now, how many PCs are available? Thousands upon thousands. That would be to the individual's, specs. What would they want? As long as it's got like a decent processing speed, which you can get like graphics cards and stuff now, can't you, to improve the speed of the PC and stuff. The PC I use, I don't even know what this is.
So I'm very lucky. I've got Will's creation. Will's actually handmade a computer, and I got the privilege of having it. And honestly, it's like all singing, all dancing. It's got strobe lights. It's ace. It's like a little mini disco in here.
Yeah, so yours is probably better than mine. I've had mine a good few years now. I probably am due an upgrade soon because it's starting to slow down a little bit. So yeah, once you've got yourself a PC, you can stream with 2 monitors, but I would always suggest 3. You've got 3, don't you?
I started with 2, but quickly learned 3 is the charm, mate.
So what I do is, I know everybody will be probably different to mine, and every streamer will be different. I run my OBS, which we'll get a little bit deeper into OBS in a minute, but I run my OBS and chat on one screen, and then I'll have my slot on the middle screen, and then I'll have everything else like forum threads open and stuff like that on the other screen. So I've always got sort of everything available to me at all times. You will need a camera. Again, cameras are £100
for something. You've got to have it in at least 1080, haven't you? It has to be.
Yeah. So 1080 is probably the minimum you'd need to be able to have a decent camera for streaming. But again, you can pick one of them up for £100. And again, monitors, you can get monitors pretty cheap. 3 of the same monitors would do. Just need to make sure you've got the right connections in the back of your PC, etc. for them monitors. And then after that, you would need, obviously, keyboard and mouse. That goes without saying, doesn't it? Because that will come with the PC, I presume. If it doesn't, then, £10 mouse and keyboard's not too hard. And then after that, a microphone.
I think you're missing out on the almighty that I need to really take a little bit of a lesson in my own preaching. A good internet.
Yeah. So internet-wise, it's not about download speed. It's more about upload speed, isn't it? Because when you're obviously live streaming, you are uploading that content for people to watch. You're not downloading it.
Yeah, the downloading is essentially just how fast your pages are loaded in front of you.
Exactly, yeah. So how fast is that game loading? How fast everything? So yes, super fast internet is the better internet is obviously the most important thing. Like my internet is like 1 gig up, down, something think yours is similar, isn't it?
It's got up there now. It's weird actually because from the old town I used to live in, quite a big town actually, I just couldn't get anything. And now I've moved out to the sticks, middle of nowhere, and yeah, you can get way up there. Way
It
up there to
definitely
like
does depend on like location and stuff as to what internet you can have, but the better internet, the better really. Because even if the internet provider's having an issue and your speeds drop, you should still have enough to be able to stream. And there has been streams where in the middle of the stream the internet just goes buff. That is unavoidable. Sometimes that can happen, and that's not in our control, is it? And then sometimes Restream will have an issue or your OBS will have an issue. There is technical things that can go wrong. I'd say the main one being internet. If your internet drops, then you're like, oh shit, because when your internet drops, your OBS will drop frames, which then it'll start stuttering for people. Then people say, no, it's lagging, it's slowing down, and that's when you're sort of having issues. Software that we stream with is OBS. It has a thing at the bottom which will tell you if you are dropping frames, and it'll have a bar that goes like orange, green, red. As long as it stays in the green, which mine pretty much 99% of the time always does, you're okay. If this starts to drop to orange, it'll tell you you're dropping frames, and then I know shit's about to go down here. What is going on? And then some say disconnected from OBS, reconnecting in 5, 4, and then it'll try and do a reconnect. And sometimes you can be sat there for 5 minutes while it attempts to reconnect to OBS. And if it hasn't done it by then, it's normally end stream, reboot internet, reboot PC, and then you sort of start again, don't you?
Which is frustrating, to be fair, because obviously you could have attracted 1,400, 1,500 viewers by that point. When it first pushes it out.
It never ever does it when you have like 200-300 viewers at the beginning of the stream. But then when you've built your stream audience up and you're doing a really good, like you're in good bonuses, you're getting and then all of a sudden dropping frames, you're like, oh, you're joking. And then by the time you've started the stream back up again, you get the stragglers coming back in and stuff, but you never get it back up to where you were. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's always funny as well because usually I think the last time since I've moved here, I've not had an internet problem. The last time it cut out was OBS needing an update halfway through a stream. So it didn't cut the stream out because of the internet. It cut it out of OBS. And I think it didn't quite cut the entire stream out. And I think I just sat here with my head in my hands like for fuck's sake. And it came back on just and I was there like crying into my into my hands.
So back at the beginning of streaming when I didn't really understand like much to what was going on with OBS and with everything, I'd pressed the wrong thing on my keyboard and then I got lock screen everywhere. Like the screen of death effectively. So every screen went dark and I'm like, shit, what's happened? And I'm here going, oh, bloody hell, and fucking, oh no, bloody hell. And, I'm like turning around. I don't know. Turns out I'd locked the screen without knowing, right? But I was still live. I was still streaming. So people could still see everything that was going on. I just couldn't, right? And it was still recording me. And I'm like, bloody hell, this like proper swearing going at it. And then eventually when I touched the keyboard and then it brought on the lock screen, typed in password boss, I was back on. I'm like, hello? And everyone's laughing going, you are live still, And I'm like, shit, I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have no... And this would have been the same for you when you first started streaming. As much as I can teach you how to use OBS and how much I can teach you to do this, that, and the other, still stuff happens where you're like, shit, like, uh-oh. And the thing is, every day you can learn something new about streaming, about OBS and stuff. So it was only about a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, that I learned how to like resize a game properly and that you can actually cut off parts of the screen to make it neater. So I knew you could do that, but I used to go into the settings, to be able to do that. As for all you need to do is press Alt on your keyboard and then drag the screen size and you can change it that way. So I'm like, that has just literally changed my life. Like the littlest thing has changed my life there. It's so much easier when you learn, hang on a minute, and there'll be a lot of other things on OBS that, I still don't know. Even though I've been using it like 7 years, there's still stuff where I'm like, well, I don't know how to do that, or blah, yada, yada.
Thing is, you had it like the hard way. You pretty much taught yourself from ground up, didn't you?
Pretty much.
In the grand scheme of things. So I was very lucky that by the time I started, you were pretty clued up with things. But, that first time that I streamed with you, I was sat there watching what you was doing. And my brain would just mush, mate. I couldn't work out. It was like you were trying to land a bloody Boeing 737. You know what I mean? It was And I still to this day, which is why you'll see me muting at the wrong time, not muting at the right time, turning the wrong things off, turning the wrong camera off during stream. We all laugh about it. We all have a joke about it. It's kind of what I'm known for at the minute. But there is still so much to me going on that you've got to focus on, like all your different windows and things. It's so hard just to switch off. I don't ever like just to sit there and be like, oh, I'm absolutely relaxed, because that's when I start doing doing stuff like that, because you just get so lackadaisical about it.
So going into something we briefly visited earlier. So when it comes to streaming, so we normally aim for like 8 p.m. to sort of 8:15. There is some days where if I'm like here, there and everywhere at like football training or something, that I might be 15-20 minutes late, but I'd say the median average is about 8:15, right? So I will obviously have a think during the day that I'm going to play this, that, or the other, blah, blah, blah. But then ultimately, when it comes to setting up my stream, 8:14, bosh, computer goes on, OBS is loaded, set my titles, bang, 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 and then start stream, right? So it literally takes me 1 minute to set up my stream. So, how long does it take you to set up?
So for me, there is nothing more anxiety than coming round to stream with you, mate. I just sit there. I sit there like quivering at what you're doing. I can't believe you're doing this. So if I know I'm streaming that night, 8:15, I will probably sit at my computer on and off from about 6 o'clock.
Really?
Yeah, I will over prepare, mate. I'm such like a warrior. I'm someone that has to have a schedule. I've got a plan. So I'll obviously have a good plan to start the stream. I'll have a good handful of games that I know that I want to play that night. For example, I'll make sure if we are playing at this site, I will have windows already open, already with games on there. The first game I'm going to play on those sites, so I know that they're going to fit the screen properly. Mate, this can go on and on and on.
You live by the rule of fail to prepare, prepare to fail, don't you?
I'm not as bad as when I first started.
When you first started streaming, you would finish a stream at like 11:30 at night, and then by midnight you were preparing for your next stream, weren't you? You were like, I better get this set up ready. You know, you were at the beginning you do find it tough in terms of making sure you haven't forgot this, making sure this, and then obviously with the OBS thing of learning how to hide cameras, hide screens, mute, unmute, bring up a game, change screens, change seat. You know, there's so many different scenes we have as well. There's podcast scenes, there's battle scenes, there's scenes for when you're live on Hideous, there's scenes for when you're live on, Fruity Slots, there's scenes for when you're doing like a stream launch of a game. There's so many different scenes, and sometimes you can click the wrong scene where like a banner comes up or something, you're like, shit, I don't want, and then all of a sudden the panic sets in and you're like,
just literally about to say that. I was just about to say, you want to be that clued up, ready to go, that sort of alert that you don't do that for a split, even for a split second, or you open a screen with the wrong site, for example, which is actually quite a bad way of me doing it when I've got sort of 5 scenes going on at once. I could click on the wrong one where it's not sized correctly, and you show your toolbar, you show all your casino names and all that kind of stuff. You've just got to be in my head. It's just, I've just got myself into a bit of a habit, I think.
But at the same time, as unorganized as it sounds I am, because it literally only takes me like a minute to set up, because I'm so experienced in it and I've done it for so long, that is the norm to me. So in one of the questions that obviously got posted on last week's podcast, do I prepare? Well, yes, I do, because I've got what's called like an organization sheet, which I will know, I'll write down new games on there that I want to play. I'll write down a few games from the last stream that people asked for that I either didn't have the funds to play or I wasn't on the right casino that had that game. So I'll write them down as well. And then people do email me, like sometimes the odd big win or something, say, will you play it next stream? That'll go on there as well. So at the same time as I've just gone bang, 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 and I've set up the stream, I do have something next to me that will have a list of games that'll say, right, I am going to start with that game, then I'm going to go to this. Just, it's more for my own personal use in terms of what variety do I have of games, because you'll see a lot of streamers out there who will mainly play these. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have my favourites. I'll always sort of go to retro tapes. I'll have a little go on mental Das Experience. I've got my favourite games that you might see played a little bit more than others, but at the same time, you'll see me play games that no other streamers will. Same as you is. I've told you to do the same when you started streaming. Set up like a couple of hours before, write down a few slots, bang, 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 that you're going to play that night. Obviously, you take suggestions from the chat as well. The only issue with taking suggestions from the chat is they are usually very much fixated around the same providers and the same games. Hence why you've got, maybe I played that yesterday, maybe I'll give that another go next week. So that's sort of how I prepare for my streams. I make sure I've got games written down that I know I'm going to play. Did I play that yesterday? Yes, so I'm going to try and not play that today. Or I want to play a game from PG Soft, for example, but I played Wild 8 the other night, so this time I'm going to play a different one. So it's more about having a different variety of slots for the audience, because the amount of times where we found hidden gems that you don't see anybody else playing, and they might be quite far down in the casino listing because they might be 6 months old. But it's an absolute gem of a game that nobody knew about, and people are like, wow, this is class. I didn't even know this game existed.
I think there's only so much planning that you can also do, because you've got to remember, like a stream, like a lot of things, it's a dynamic thing. Like it can change. You know, you could start off, you could have the best plan in the world. Yeah, if your first hour goes to absolute pieces, you find yourself your nurse imbalances, you've got all these volley games that you want to be playing, you've got all these bonuses that you really want to get, but actually this is where you are good at something that I'm not that good at, is sort of knowing the right times to make changes and to play certain games that could get you out the hole here. You know what I mean?
Yes. So again, that goes on more of experience. That's something that you can't really teach anybody.
Yeah.
That goes from trying to figure an example. So if I'm starting a stream with, for example, 5k, and I've got 5k in the balance, I can be a bit more relaxed because I'll just rewind again. When I say starting the stream with 5k, right? We have always used Fruit Slots Hideous, always used real funds, never sponsored funds, never, we don't, that's completely irrelevant to us. We start streams with real funds, and hence if I've got a 5k balance from a big win the night before, then I can be a little bit more, do you know what, I can play higher volatile games where I might lose 1,000, but then at the same time, you've got the good chance of winning 4, 5, 10, whatever, K back from them high volatile games, because you've sort of got the balance to push the slots a little bit. And if you don't get a base game win, I can then sort of say, well, now, do you know what? I'm gonna buy that bonus because I have the funds to do it, right? As the stream goes on, let's say that figure from 5k goes down to 1k. Right, I am then now thinking, hang on a minute, I've been streaming an hour and a half, I've lost X amount of money, I need to stable this balance in a way, not only just for a content wise, but also for an entertainment purposes as well. People are going to be like, well, the stream's going to be over in half an hour, guys, if you want me to go and buy a bonus on X, Y, and Z. So then you look at games like Bonanza, for example, very good wagering game. Mega Wage slots tend to wager. Obviously, with the bonus being a lot harder to get, the base game seems to keep you going a lot more, right? So saying that, you've got to judge what game you can play as to what your balance is. Now, if I've got 500 left in the balance and I want to make the stream last another hour because I've been ripping, that's when I will go to the games where, do you know what, I probably would get a bonus in 100 spins on that, or like you're playing go slots, which again will pay okay in the base game, quite an easy chance of getting a bonus in 100 spins. You've just got to gauge it from what your balance is to how volatile games you are playing. Do you know what I mean? And that's not something that you learn. That just comes with experience of streaming and knowing, well, I'm not going to do a stupid buy there because it's going to rip me and then the stream could be over. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of I don't know the word I'm looking for, variables to take into consideration when streaming. It isn't just bang, I'm streaming, here we go, buzz by. But you do have to stream some streams that are like that week, and you're like, do you know what, without we can sort of let your hair down a little bit. But then at the same time, you're still going to get people coming into the chat at, like 10:30 saying, is this real money? Well, I'm playing €2 bets. You know what I mean? I'm playing €2 bets on a game where other streamers you might see doing 1,000, 2,000, but whatever. Do you know what I mean? Whatever these other guys do is their prerogative. That's not my business, and whatever they want to do, they can do. It's nothing to do with me. But at the same time, are you playing real? It's like, come on, look at the balance to look at what I'm doing to understand if you think I'm playing like with real funds or not. That still frustrates me to this day when people still, will fangirl over some videos of someone winning millions, and then at the same time I'm doing, I've just won 600, off a pound or something. Do you know what I mean?
You know what? It's same with me as well. Like I couldn't get excited knowing that we weren't winning back something real. You know what I mean? I could sit there all night long doing click, 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 click. But we all know that I'm a bit overzealous with reactions sometimes, whether it's me squawking away or whether it's me riding the chair, slapping the chair, chucking me out. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't physically get that hyped up over nothing if it was fake, and that's just me. And you can always say, oh, it's all acting. I can't act for shit. I'm not
an actor. That's
I ain't
one
winning no Oscar for nothing.
I think the day you'd see me not stream anymore is the day where I really am not enjoying it and it's not fun for me, because it's disingenuous, and it's like people will be watching me and I'm just like a robot, like, let's do that. You know what I mean? As for what we do, there's passion involved. We love playing slots, don't get me wrong. But there's also, we love winning, and the highs and lows of gambling is where, the other night I was down to 50 quid. And then all of a sudden I'm up to 7k. That's real emotion, and it's real, oh my God, like, what the hell? Do you know what I mean? As for when you're doing that every night of every week, and it don't matter, it takes away the excitement for me.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, people notice emotions during the stream. Like, there's times, and there's been times recently where I've just not felt myself on stream because you're having such a poor run. And you're losing battles every week. I know it's all a bit of fun for it. I can take it on kind of a talking point, and we all take the piss and all that kind of stuff. But actually, you can see that. You can see that in your emotions as you play.
Of course you can, and that takes us back to another question as well of the chat. So for us, like, in terms of how we stream and stuff, the chat are like absolutely like one of the most important things about streaming, because you've known as well as I've known that we've done daytime streams where we've only had like 7 or 8 people in the chat, and it's really tough to be able to talk and keep going when nobody else is talking. You've got nobody to rapport with, nobody to bounce off, right? So that's why when me and you have been filming this podcast for however long now, and we don't stop talking. It's very easy. Do you know what I mean? And it's the same when people are in chat. When you've got 1,500 people in chat or watching, and then you've got X amount of people that are actually chatting, not only are they talking to themselves, talking, to each other, they're talking to you. You've got questions coming your way. It's very, very easy then to speak to the audience. Audience, right? The viewers, the audience, and you can have a rapport with them, whether it be about sport, whether it be about what's happening in the world with celebrities, with anything, what new games are getting released. Very simple to keep a stream going. But when you've got hardly anybody in the chat and nobody's chatting, it makes it harder. So to answer your question, it does matter a lot to what's going on in the chat as to what is happening when you're streaming. It affects the stream massively, but it also affects your mood as well.
Of course it does. Yeah. You got to remember as well, with so many people, the more people in the chat, the better, because another thing that John mentioned is that, do you come on with subjects already planned and things like that? I think by and large, certainly from my perspective, when I first started, I would try and put a couple of talking points down, maybe something that had happened during that week or something I'd heard on radio or anything. If anything still happens like that, then I will. But, by and large, I will not come on with a topic ready to talk about, because I think with that many people in, you've got such a variety of commenters, you've got a variety of questions coming through. And that's clearly why that you can go from talking about sports to then pandas to...
Yeah, literally. Conversation on... a conversation on an evening can literally go from football to slots to what's the inside of an eyeball called, to somebody firing a health question to me. It's like, why are you asking me what's wrong with, your piles, your Farmer Giles? It's Google. Google it. You know what I mean? Like, don't ask me. I'm a streamer. So
you can't Google it because it's only going to tell you you're going to die.
Yeah, I normally tend to give funny answers and try and make a laugh and a joke about it. But the problem with my personality is someone may come on for like a genuine reason, something really sad's happened or something. But again, I not nervous, but I get like laugh, it's bad. But when somebody says something sad and I'm like, well,
You know what? I know this is going to sound really morbid, but sometimes for me personally, they're my favourite conversations because I like actually personally not in like a bad way. I don't want wrong to happen to anyone. You know, everyone should live healthy, happy lives.
Like that. Get in there, right?
Quietly rubbing my hands under the desk.
Let me get stuck
But,
in.
you know, I like knowing that people can come to streamers like us, and you know, it's like one big family, it's one big community. I like that people can open up to not just us, but people in the chat as well, because I feel like it does help.
Yeah. No, it definitely does. It does help. And with there being that many viewers now, and obviously we stream across both channels, whether it be vertical, horizontal, Twitch, Kick, you know, there is a lot of chat coming our way from different angles, effectively. And I think one of the hardest things is game selections, when people are asking for games to be played, and what people have got to remember is it's not just that game that they've requested to see. There is hundreds of people who are putting game requests in from all sorts of areas, and you're like, right, I can't play physically all these games. That's why I'll take the odd one from here, the odd one from there, the odd one from here. Because
I think the best
stream, keep everybody happy. You just can't.
The best streams for game selection are definitely those bonus hunt streams, I think, because you can get such a good array of bonuses, like, or of games lined up. Rather, you play for a few and then they hit you with some more. You know, I know the hunt that you did the other night, you'd obviously pre-saved because you hadn't intended to do a hunt in the first place, but you'd done that. But yeah, I think bonus hunt streams are a really good opportunity for people to put games in there.
Yeah, I agree. It is nice to do a bonus hunt where it breaks streams up a little bit as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can do something a little bit different where you can like save bonuses and open bonuses, set up forum threads, do giveaways.
Yeah.
So it does. It like sort of gives you a break from the day-to-day streaming that we usually do. But again, because we play with real funds and everything, bonus hunts aren't always possible, because if we're on a bad run, for example, that run, like the swings people need to understand with streaming, like I don't want to go into like absolute detail here, but what I will say is, you know, the best month that we might have had would have been sort of, you know, the 60 odd K mark in terms of the big jamming jars hit, and you know, stuff. You know, we've had some unbelievable wins, some absolutely incredible wins, right? So that win for the month, right, is brilliant, amazing. We just had a really big win. But a lot of people need to understand is, if we stream pretty much Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 6 streams a week, right, and we have been on an awful run this year, right? Not only in between them streams, we are filming battles, which can be, sometimes them battles don't have bonus buys. So you've got to spin it in the base game, for example, right? And if them bonuses aren't coming in, just to create the slot battle with either me, you, Jamie, me, you, Josh, me, Josh, you know, whichever. If there's 3 of us, that's 30 bonuses. People have seen on stream before of when we've done a bonus hunt and started with 5k, got down to 2k and cancelled the hunt because it's not going well, right? So you can sometimes see on a different perspective when we are filming a battle and some of them don't have buys, the amount of times we've had to either cancel a battle or switch a game out because it's ripped us of like £1,000 and we haven't managed to bonus it. That is £1,000, euros, whichever you want to call it, right? That has disappeared from our like streaming budget. That has not created any content because we've had to drop it from the back because it's just not bonusing. That's just for one person. Imagine then you trying to bonus that game, and then Josh or Jamie and Jamie trying to bonus that game as well. By the time you know it, you know, you're like, oh shit, here we go. We've had battles before that have cost a lot of money to film the battle, and then at the end of it, we've not had any big wins from that battle. It's been like, all right, that's been a loss. That's been, you know, we've got content out of it because we've got the battle up on a Sunday night and people enjoy the battles. That's why we'll always do the battles. We'll continue to do them. But in terms of how much it costs to make them battles, that's something people don't see because, you know, they're only seeing the result. They're only seeing the actual open battle. And I'll go the same to Bonus by Wednesday. A very popular feature, with one of the most popular, but at the same time, very, very expensive to do. And if you're on a bad run, trying to do a bonus buy Wednesday where you're constantly doing bonus buys, you can lose 3 or 4 grand in an hour when them bonuses aren't paying.
Especially when we run it alongside Feature by Friday as well.
Exactly.
It kind of just doubles the trouble.
Yeah, so it's all well and good having these ideas and doing these things, but in the real world, in the actual, we are like getting ripped left, right, and center. So as I was saying before, we've had some months where we've been like, wow, we're 60k up for the month, for example, right? But what other people won't see is the month before that, we might have been 50k down, and then the next month we're 50k down, and it's like, oh, hang on a minute. That all of a sudden unbelievable month where I'm saying to people on stream, I'm getting battered at the moment, and they say, yeah, but you had that massive win from, jamming jars, or you had that massive win from X, Y, and Z. I'm like, yes, but when I have like 2 weeks of no cash outs and we're streaming 6 times a week, filming battles, filming this, that, and the other, that how long do you think that lasts in terms of the streaming side of things? You know what I mean? So if I'm spending 3k a night, for example, this is all just rough numbers, just rough. If I spend 3k in a night, finish the stream after 2.5 hours because I didn't get any bonuses, I ripped, bosh. You're on the next day and you do the same, and then I'm on the next day and I do the same. It's 4 days. If we don't get a cash out when it runs bad, that's 10k, bang, gone.
Yeah.
Okay. In a week, that could be 15k without any cash outs. If we're running really badly in a week, it could be 15, could be 20. Do you know what I mean? It could theoretically be. And obviously, we were doing a lot of daytime streams and trying to grow the channel here, there, and everywhere and stuff. So that's added more into the streaming pot of, right, we're going to have to conjure up some funds to be able to stream. And so by the time you took all this into consideration, them big wins there where people say, oh, what did you treat yourself to? Or what did you, like, what people need to understand is by the time you've had a really, really good month, you have a really, really bad one as well. So it's sort of, it's always like this. Normally, it is like this because, like, you will lose. Overall, you will lose. Yeah, you get some good casino bonuses every now and again and stuff like that. But, just because we've had a big win the night before doesn't necessarily mean to say the next stream we're going to start with 10k and do a hunt because we've lost so much in the month previous. It might be right, let's bank that, let's regroup, you know what I mean? And that's what people don't see when it comes to like streaming and stuff.
It's just a good insight. It's a good insight to what people ask. We don't always see on stream. We don't always get to go into heavy depth on stream and stuff. But I think, the more people know and the more people see how we have to adapt ourselves stream to stream. You have 3 or 4 brutal nights and then I pull up on a Saturday night to finish the week off. What am I thinking straight away? Like, I need to be easy tonight. I need to really go steady. I need to watch myself. Yeah. You don't want to have a full week of absolute brutality. And it does affect how you're then going to approach that stream. You don't want it to, because obviously you want to be as entertaining as you can. You want to have these big wins. You want to be able to do these big bonus buys, these big stakes and stuff. But it does take an effect.
Yeah, of course it does. And, there's nothing I'd want more to be able to say to people, I'm going to do a 10k hunt once a week or a 5k hunt once a week. But cost effectiveness, how much have I lost previously? Are we having a bad month? And, you've got to sort of take all this into consideration. And that's like you say, that's sometimes what people don't see when they turn YouTube on and, I'm going to watch Fruity Slots for the night. They see me with like a 7k balance and like, oh, here we go. Do you know what I mean? As for sometimes I'm going to go, right, I'm going to leave it at 6 and then I'm going to change sites and play some other games that are not on that, not on that specific casino. And then the next day withdraw that, get it in the tank, and then give us some funds to like distribute elsewhere to this casino, that casino, so we can play a different variety of games that are on that casino. Do you know what I mean? So That's where people sometimes struggle to say, oh well, you had 7k last night. I'm like, well, yeah, I did last night, but I've withdrawn it, and then we're starting again from scratch, just to try and stem the flow a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Trying to put a finger in the dike, as it were.
I think it just keeps things very relatable. Because I remember certainly before I started, you went through a very, very rough spell where, you'd gone from one month doing, $5 stakes and whatnot. And then for another month or two, you dropped it literally down to like €2 stakes across the board. And I think, it was still just as entertaining to watch because, some people watch for different reasons. Some people watch for the slots. I'm sure there's people that watch our streams and have the sound off, especially when I'm on. Jesus Christ, don't me droning on. But there's people that watch it just for the streamers themselves, for me, for you, for the battles, and Josh, Jamie when they're on. People watch things for different reasons, but I think one reason why Fruity has always done so well is because it's always stayed very relatable to your average
don't get me wrong, I do the odd pro raise where I'll raise it if a game's going really well or a stream's going well, and I'll do a big bonus buy. I'll do it because it warrants it. Do you know what I mean? The stream warrants it, and the way that it's going warrants it. And as sometimes it's the other way around, where, like I've said on volatility of games, if I'm playing Bonanza or I'm playing like a really, really, volatile game, but it's good in the base game, you'll probably see me play it on euro stakes, pound stakes, whatever, right? But then if I'm playing like a super volatile game, which is like doesn't really pay much in the base game, but the bonus could be, you'll see me drop the stake. So I'm always thinking, how volatile is this game as to what stake I'm playing? And you're always thinking that in your head. Hang on a minute, I'm playing Buzz Thrill, right? Quite a volatile game, but it can pay in the base game. But then the bonuses can be unbelievable. You've got to match that in your head as to what stake it's worth playing on, as to what balance you have. So everything is calculated when I'm loading up a slot as to, is this slot the right slot to play at this specific time in the stream, to what the balance is, to what stakes I'm playing. Everything's weighed up, but the thing is, I do that weighing up in seconds. I will, instantly go, bang, I can play that. But sometimes, you for example might not get that yet. As I do it, do you know what I mean?
You're like a supercomputer. I'm like one of those old school Acorn computers, which has got like that Ladybird game and things. My processing time is very, very long. But it's even things like you do this a lot. Not just about the dropping stakes for the volatility of the game and things like that, but take hacksaws for example, take no limits for example. Sometimes you want to push the boat out to get that bonus, so you will drop the stakes, but you'll put the feature spins on, you'll put the experts on, you'll up it that way. So that you're probably going to get a bonus relatively quickly, a lower stake, but that you've got that better chance.
Yeah, so I'm playing it on the same stake. So effectively, if I'm spinning 100 spins at fiver and I don't get the bonus, I'll drop it down to 250, but then put the expert on, so it takes it back up to a fiver. So effectively, I've halved my stake for the bonus, but I've increased my chances of bonusing the game. So things like that, again, you weigh up in your head, is it doing that? Is it playing well enough? Does it warrant it at that time, specific time in the stream?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, it is calculated. Sometimes don't get me wrong, sometimes you do have a balance of stuff where you're like, let's go, Blee, let's go buy bonus there anyway. You have them streams every now and again, but mostly it's calculated as to stakes, balance, and time, everything. Do you know what I mean? And your mood as well. If you're tired, I want to try and give it everything. I want to try and put all my effort and energy and time into streaming. If for some reason that night I can't do that and I'm tired, you might see me finish the stream an hour early because the stream's not going well. My mood is not fully focused on that stream because it's going so badly, and we're just bleeding money left, right, and centre. So it's like, if I can't give this stream 100%, I'm going to end it a little bit early, get some sleep, regroup, and then we go again tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because if the one thing that the viewers deserve, it is me and you giving it our all and being fully focused on the stream and the chat and, being able to give it everything. If I can't give it everything and I can't, then I will probably end it a little bit earlier and go, do you know what? I'll regroup, get some rest, come back tomorrow and we go again.
Yeah, exactly. And you get those streams, don't you, where you just feel like it doesn't matter what game you to, it doesn't matter. You are not going to pull this one out. And I think they are the good times just to think like, let's just save it for another day. Sometimes I don't even finish with a bonus buy.
Yeah.
Everyone likes to see bonus buys at the end of the night. I know that. But there's times where I just think, why put another 200 into this? Why put another 200 into this?
It brings that saying like true, doesn't it? When the fun stops, stop. If I'm not having fun that stream and I'm struggling and I'm tired and I'm like, do you know what? I've got a big balance here. Even though I've just won a big win, I'm still a bit tired. And do you know what? I don't want my tiredness to make my judgment off and go, do you know what? I've just done a stupid buy for 1k. Why did I do that? Do you know what I mean? And you get a tenner back off it and you're like, I should not have done that. Or I lose concentration and I buy a bonus on the wrong stake and I'm like, why? You know what I mean? My head is not in the right place for this. I'm tired and I'm making mistakes. I need to regroup. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes it can be just purely tiredness or something that can affect your judgment on a stream or something like that. So you've got to take all that into consideration. But at the end of the day, if we're streaming and it's not fun and we're struggling a bit, then we do tend to end a little bit early, don't we?
Yeah, but then by and large, the other way around. Sometimes, I and you have as well. I've streamed for 4.5 hours before.
Yeah,
When
you can do
everything's
me like
going
that.
right, you just feel in such a zone. You get to that 3-hour mark and you think, bloody hell, like I'm buzzing.
Honestly, I've streamed for like 7 or 8 hours before when doing well, grinding games.
Yeah.
Trying to finish wagering, grinding up Kingmaker, and man, that was the issue with my sciatica, by the way. That's what started it all off. Bloody grinding Kingmaker for 6 hours, sat on a wooden chair, squishing my freaking sciatic nerve, and I'm like, oh my god! And I had so much issues after that. So effectively, that wiped me out for a month after that. So yeah, to answer a long question, John, I hope that sort of gives everybody a little bit of more of an insight into sort of the world of streaming and how we sort of take each stream bit day by day and content and, again, with battles and stuff. Just because you don't see it, you might see the balances, what they are in the battles, and sometimes battles can be sometimes just as expensive as streaming because the bonuses aren't landing or, they're just not paying. And when we've got to do 30 bonuses, if everybody's losing, then you can do the math yourself on how much 30 bonuses on like a 2-bet costs. You know what I mean? So how much if you got nothing back, it would be 6k, wouldn't it? Yeah. If every bonus got half money back, you'd lose 3k. All right. So you can sort of think then how much a battle can sometimes cost to film, because
especially when I'm in it.
Especially when you're in it, we're gonna have to drop you soon. We're gonna have to drop you, and we'll get John's YouTube in, or we'll get friggin' someone in, and they can take it, because you've been just horrendous, mate.
Do you really want to know what flushes my toilet? And this is
here we go. Here we go.
This actually happened to me today, so it's fresh in my mind. It's freshly flushed. Going to a little local, like a Sainsbury's local or a petrol station, right? And you're getting some Red Bull, you get a bag of crisps, and someone gets in front of you doing their weekly shop in a convenience, weekly shop.
That pisses me off as well.
Even worse, they don't let you go in front.
Especially when you've only got 2 items and they've got like...
I will make a point of it by standing there with my items in my hand, making like the... you know what I mean? Like getting their attention. And they're like, oh, do you want a mint? Do you want a cough sweet? No, I want to get in front of you. Absolutely flushes me to pieces. That we mentioned last week that I am a bit of a Christian motorist. We went through that. I am a Christian shopper as well. I will, if I have got a trolley full of goods and someone is behind me with a bottle of water or just a couple of items, they are going in front of me. They are going in front because I know they will say thank you. I know they will be grateful for it. It doesn't bother me. It's 2 minutes of my time. But when it doesn't get done in reverse, why not?
I mean, listen, I fully support your flushes your toilet there, because it winds me up as well. But I don't think it quite winds me up as much as it winds you up. That's not a big issue. I can tell you from a few things from this week, right, that I can tell you a couple of like really, really grind gears, right? Wasps grind my gears. Like
wasps?
Wasps, right? Do you know where you sit down for a barbecue, or you sit down and have a drink outside, right? You're enjoying yourself. The beers are flowing, the chat's flowing, everything's fine. There's always that one little... There's always that one fucker who don't piss off. Do you know what I mean? Like, he floats around annoying everyone.
Yeah.
And then you see him sort of trottle away. And then before you know it again, you're about to take a sip in his ear, and you're like, oh my... Wasps really grind my gears, mate.
It's even worse. It's even worse in summer, right? Whenever I'm at a barbecue, the ring pull on your can, I'll always flick it round, because the amount of times I've done this, I always look down into the peephole. It's not my first peephole, but I look in there, because the amount of times that you've drank or almost drank a fly, drank a wasp.
It happened to me not last week, the week before. I was at like a local music festival, and I was drinking a can of Coke. Just as I was about to put it to my lips, a wasp crawled out, and I'm like, you dirty bastard.
And it's even worse, because wasps will come back and sting and sting and sting. It's not just like your one sting, one beat. No. They will keep coming back. God forbid one gets down your jeans or your trousers, because then it'll sting you 50 times before you get them off again. Some people right out there now, like environmentalists, will say that wasps play a big part in nature and the environment and all that kind of stuff.
Apart from annoy me, I don't know what to do.
Exactly. They're shit bees.
I understand a bee. Okay, I understand a bee. A wasp, I don't know. I don't understand.
Absolutely shambolic, mate. I agree with that one.
And another thing as well, this winds me up because it got me the other day as well. Thistles that grow out of a nicely cut, trimmed lawn.
Oh,
right. So I cut the grass barefooted last week, right? Bang, stepped on a thistle, and it wasn't just it was like a Scottish thistle. It was like one of these. Do you know what I mean? And bang, do, all in my foot. These tiny little prickly hair things. Oh my god! So then I had to put flip flops on to cut my own grass because of this. Where's the thistles? Do you know what I mean? What are they? What are even they?
So
why did everything hurt you? Why is everything there just to piss you off?
If you had the choice to get rid of a thistle or a nettle, which one would you get rid of?
Well, I've never heard anyone have a thistle soup. Put it that way.
Well, that's very true, actually. Very true.
Yeah.
But I would say that stepping on a fresh, like, sturdy pointed thistle is probably worse than getting stung by a nettle, because a nettle sting it'll go down within 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5, possibly 10
You
minutes.
don't want to be picking. You don't want to be picking pricks out the bottom of your foot.
You bloody don't. You don't want to be picking pricks out of anywhere, do you? Do you know what I mean? Jesus Christ, it bloody hurts. It bloody hurts. But yeah, thistles are grinding my gears this week. They really, really are. I get down on my hands and knees. I get down on my hands and knees with like a fork or a knife and cut them out, and then get the soil down and then spread a bit of seed. But then the next week when I'm cutting my grass, another fucking thistle, and I'm like, oh my, where did they come from? Where did they go? Where did they come from? Cut Nigel.
I think it's just weeds in general, mate. Weeds are just bastards.
Do they come from bird poo?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. People are like, oh, weeds are wildflowers. I don't want wildflowers. I want a nicely freshly cut lawn.
Yes.
I don't want them they're growing out the crevices of my patio. I don't want them in my beds of soil, because like we've got some soil beds in our new house. We've got plenty of like what they call like borders all the way around. And I just want to get something that I can just get rid of all the weeds. But then I know I'm not going to be able to plant stuff because I'm going to ruin the soil. I can't ruin the soil because you're going to get your nitrogen, and all your phosphates and your fertilizers.
I've never had a weed killer that works as well, by the way. They can call it what they want. I've never had a weed killer that kills weeds, because you spray it on, and then, the next day it goes brown, shrivels, dies. A couple of weeks later, bosh, new one comes. There's just no stopping them. They're just
because you've not targeted the roots. That's why.
But like you say, though, in your patio, so in my patio, I've got squared blocks, like a squared block patio. No matter how many times I will dig the weed up by the root or clear it in between, then power wash it, and then lay a bit of weed killer and stuff, right? And I've got a gorgeous patio. 2 weeks later, I've got like a tiny bit of grass coming through, and then bosh, dandelion. Like, how did you get there? What are you doing? Do you know what I mean? Like, yesterday there was nothing, and now there's a dandelion this big coming out. Where have you come from? It just winds me up.
There you go, guys. It's a worldwide exclusive. Scotty, the slot wizard, horticulturist extraordinaire.
I'm not.
Was that the right word? Horticulturist?
Horticulture, possibly.
It sounds right.
Yeah, but I'm not green fingered. It's never been a thing for me. Sam has commented on the podcast from last week saying, nothing grinds my gears more than people who queue at the bar. The bar is 60 foot long. Why are you all queuing behind each other? You know, that is a typical British thing, isn't it? Everybody loves a queue. No matter what, like, you will wait in the queue. So you don't take it upon yourself to go to the bar and create more space. You will just go and wait in the queue. But I know that in different cultures, that's not a thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, what you doing queuing? Why don't you just go to the bar? Because
you go to the airport. You go to an airport. You will always see the British travellers compared to any other traveller, because they are literally queued up line, all the way out to departures, where everyone else is just in one massive huddle.
See this on both sides, to be honest. With the queuing thing, especially in a bar, if there's 3 people behind the bar, and you create an orderly queue and they just go, next please, you know it's you, right? As for when everybody floods to the bar and you're trying to flag some, a bar lady down, barman or whatever, and you're like, hiya, and they go, yeah, just a minute, and they serve the person next to you, and that person next to you, you saw him walk up to the bar, and you're like, you prick, do you know what I mean? I was next, God, do you know what? This actually grinds my gears. I was next, not you, right? So if that happens to me, I go, oh, he was actually, and then he goes, oh, cheers, mate. He orders his drink, and then they automatically go, oh, it's him next. Or because you sent the bar lady or barman's onto the person next to you, they automatically then come to you next. It's courtesy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't go, I had 2 pints, whatever, please, for the person next to me to be thinking the same I am. You prick, it was me next. Do you know what I mean? That pisses me off. It does. Absolutely. It does wind me up because I'm not the tallest of persons. You know what I mean? I'm like 6'4", 6'5". I don't know. I don't know how tall I am. I'm in the 5 somewhere. You know what I mean? But at a bar, I'm not as visually easy to see as the guy next to me. As you, for example, if I'm stood next to you at a bar, they serve you first because you're like, like a guy.
Scotty, the only bars that I've ever seen you on pubs I've seen you go to are those really old classic ones. You know, they've got that brass rod, that brass rail along the bottom of it, so you can stand on the rail. Stand on the rail.
I do like a pub with a brass rail. I've got to be honest, mate. I do. It brings me up to everybody else's height and gives me a fair chance. It does. But yeah, that does grind my gears, to be fair. And he has added the people who clapped for the NHS as something that grinds his gears as well.
I mean, I think it was great when it started, but then when people started coming out with pots and pans and air horns, and you're trying to get your kids to bed at night, and
like this,
at the time when that was in its peak, my daughter was probably 3 years old, so she went to bed at a very reasonable. And it always used to happen at about 7 o'clock at night, and I knew damn well it would come. Next door would have a bloody rolling pin against a Tupperware, and other side will be pulling his chicken's head, so he's like.
I had a guy who used to come out and play the bagpipes. So honestly, it went from clapping to banging pots and pans to bagpipes, and I'm like, come on, you know what I mean? Hey.
I can appreciate a bagpipe.
I appreciate a bagpipe, but I don't appreciate a bagpipe at that specific time of evening. Go on. Yeah, I get why that grinds your gears, but that's not a daily occurrence or a weekly occurrence of grinding gears. That's something that happened in the past, and I don't think anybody's going to be doing it again, are they?
No, not like
Yeah. Especially when they were the ones who were saying, "Don't clap for us because we don't want to be here." Like, all right, sorry. So family members who work for the NHS who literally couldn't get time off or do anything, but that's a different story, and we can leave that for another podcast.
Different kettle of fish.
Yeah, but for now, I think we're pretty much done. We've had a nice chat. We've gone into streaming, and we've gone into the more in-depth streams, as there were. We've gone to balances. You know, I think we've covered quite a lot.
Definitely, yeah. I think it's been a very informative one again.
Very informative podcast, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment under the podcast. What grinds your gears? What flushes your toilet? If you've got any questions that you want to see us answer, or if you've got any new topics that you'd like to see us cover on these podcasts, remember they happen every Sunday. They can last an hour long or they can last 3 hours. It depends on the subject and how much there is to talk about on that subject. So yeah, if you'd like us to have a little discussion about anything, just leave a comment, or you can email scotty@fruityslots.com and you can email aisley@hideousslots.com. We are contactable on Discord. We're contactable on the comment section under these videos. So there's plenty of ways to get hold of us. So yeah, just make sure you do it. Make sure you send us them questions.
Do it now.
We do have a lot more comments gathering now. So I think the longer this podcast goes on, we're going to get a lot more comments and a lot more topics and a lot more questions that people want answering.
Definitely.
Peace out, dude. I'll see you again next week. Cheers for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, leave your comments. And until next week's podcast, I will bid you farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Toodles.
Scotty and A's, they're keeping it real. Laugh so loud you'll skip your next meal. Uncut raw, just how you like. Hit that button, smash that like.